She broke my daughter's arm, and then had the nerve to smile about it. That was the first thing I heard when my wife called me from the school. Her voice was shaking. I was still sitting at my desk in the county building halfway through, signing paperwork, when my world flipped upside down. I didn't ask questions. I grabbed my jacket and walked out without a word. By the time I reached Brookwood Elementary, my daughter Lily was in the nurse's office, holding her tiny arm, like it was made of glass. Her eyes were swollen from crying, but she still tried to smile when she saw me. That smile shattered me more than anything else. I just wanted to play on the slide, Daddy. But she said it was only for her son. Who said that? I asked, already knowing I wouldn't like the answer. The nurse looked uncomfortable. A parent. Well, not really. She volunteers here. She said she's part of the HOA Safety Committee. The nurse made air quotes like even she knew. It was nonsense. And then she walked in. Blonde bob, big sunglasses on her head indoors, holding a fake Starbucks cup like it was a trophy. "Are you the father?" she asked, not even looking at Lily. "Your kid needs to learn boundaries. My son was using the slide." I took a deep breath. "Are you telling me you physically pulled a 5-year-old off a slide?" She didn't. Blink. She was pushing. I just moved her. Kids exaggerate pain all the time. She has a fractured arm. The nurse snapped. Karen turned to her, shrugged, then looked back at me. "You should be glad I didn't press charges for her behavior. She's aggressive, just like kids from your kind of neighborhood." That's when I knew. This wasn't just about a slide. She wasn't here to protect anyone. She was here to control, to dominate, and she thought she could get away with it. I leaned in slowly, keeping my voice calm. "You're not a teacher. You're not even a parent at this school. So what gives you the right?" "I am the HOA lead safety advisor," she said proudly. "I have authority. I talk to the principal regularly. He listens to me. And if I say your family doesn't belong here, trust me, he'll listen." She actually smiled. A tight, smug, arrogant smile. "You think I don't know who you are?" she added. "I see you park that black truck in the school lot like you own the place." I stared at her for a second, not saying a word, just watching her dig her own grave. She didn't know. She had no idea who she was talking to. And I wasn't about to stop her. I took Lily gently in my arms and walked out of the nurse's office. My wife followed close behind, her eyes locked, on Karen burning with the kind of fury only a mother can carry, but I was quiet. Too quiet. That always scares people more. Outside, as I was buckling Lily into her booster seat, a school security guard came rushing toward us. "Sir, I need you to wait. The school has requested you not leave the premises until this incident is fully investigated." I turned around slowly. "Requested by who?" He hesitated. The HOA safety advisor filed a complaint. She said your daughter was the aggressor and that you threatened her inside." I laughed. I couldn't help it, a short, bitter laugh. "Do you know who I am?" I asked, not as a flex, but because I genuinely needed to know if this whole place had lost its mind. The guard shook his head. "No, sir, I'm just following protocol." I pulled out my wallet, flipped it open, and held it up at eye level. "Deputy Commissioner, County Office, badge 4172. His eyes widened. The color drained from his face. I didn't know, sir. I'm so sorry." "Don't apologize to me. Apologize to my daughter. And if I don't see that woman escorted off school grounds within the next 5 minutes, I'll be filing charges for child endangerment and impersonating an officer of authority." The guard nodded so fast I thought his neck might snap. And just like that, the tide turned, but not for long. As I got into the car, a loud bang hit the back of my truck. I jumped out. Karen was standing there, phone in hand, recording me. "This man is kidnapping a child. Someone call 911, she screamed, panning her camera dramatically between me and my daughter. People were stopping, teachers, parents, even kids. The scene was exploding. "You're going to jail," she barked, still filming. "I've got your face. You're done." That's when Principal Hargrove walked up, looking completely lost. What is going on?" "She attacked my son," Karen yelled, "and now he's threatening me, and he said he's some kind of deputy or something." "He is," the principal muttered, confused. "He's the deputy commissioner. Why is he even being confronted?" Karen froze, just for a second. Then she tried to save face. "Well, I didn't know. Nobody told me. You don't just let people like him walk around schools without ID." She kept digging, but she didn't realize she was already in too deep, and I hadn't even started yet. Karen's face twitched when the principal confirmed who I was. She tried to regain control, raising her voice even higher. "Well, title or not, he threatened me. I want him banned from school grounds. This place is supposed to be safe." "You broke a 5-year-old's arm," I said quietly. "And now you're talking about safety?" Karen pointed her phone at me again like it was a weapon. "This is all being recorded. My lawyer will have a field day with this. I know people. I run things around here." I stepped closer. "Good. I know people too. Except mine wear real badges and file real charges." Her eyes flicked to the security guard, who was now whispering urgently into his radio. I caught a few words. "Calling district supervisor. Possible impersonation. Escalating fast." Karen finally backed off, muttering, "This isn't over." "You're right," I said. "It's not." That night, after we got Lily settled at home, arm in a sling, crayons in her good hand, I opened my personal case file. I had heard whispers about this woman before. HOA complaints, noise threats, racial profiling. And now this? Assaulting a child? She wasn't just arrogant, she was dangerous. I made a few calls. First, to the county legal advisor, then to CPS, and finally, to a contact in internal affairs, who owed me a favor. By morning, I had a thick folder sitting on my desk. Karen's HOA was unofficial, not registered with the city, completely fabricated. Her safety committee was just her and 2 friends, one of whom had a criminal trespassing record. But it got worse. There was a copy of a letter she'd sent out to families in the neighborhood last month. Fake letterhead. Claimed new zoning restrictions on who could attend public schools based on property boundaries. That's not just illegal, it's federal fraud. And she signed her name at the bottom like it meant something. I stared at her signature for a while. Then I smiled. She had no idea what was coming. Because the next time she tried to play authority, it would be in front of someone she couldn't shout down. A courtroom. And the judge wouldn't care about her HOA badge or her Starbucks order. He'd care about the broken arm of a little girl. 2 days later, I got a knock at my office door. "Sir," my assistant said, poking her head in, "there's a woman in the lobby demanding to speak with you, says it's urgent." I already knew who it was. "Let her wait," I said, without even looking up from the papers in front of me. 5 minutes. Exactly 5 minutes later, Karen stormed in like she owned the building. She was wearing a blazer 2 sizes too, tight and dragging a wheeled briefcase behind her like she was heading to court, except she wasn't invited. "You can't do this to me," she hissed the second the door shut. "You're abusing your position. This is harassment." I motioned for her to sit, but she stayed standing, arms crossed. Her tone was sharp, but her eyes darted everywhere. Nervous. "You lied to the school," I said calmly. "You impersonated an authority figure. You physically harmed a child, and you sent out fake zoning letters to manipulate school admissions." "That was a misunderstanding," she said, waving her hand like it meant nothing. "I was just trying to maintain order. Someone has to, with all the new people moving in." I raised my hand. "Stop. Just stop. You think because you wear pearls and yell loud enough no one will push back, but I've got news for you. I didn't fight to protect this country just to watch people like you bully kids and families out of public spaces." Her face flushed. "You don't get to lecture me. I know my rights." "So do I," I replied, pulling out a printed notice from a folder. This is an official cease and desist from the county. You are banned from entering any school property within this district. One more visit, and you're facing criminal trespass charges. She stepped forward like she was going to argue, but I wasn't done. And this, I handed her another document thicker than the first. This is a copy of the complaint I filed with the district attorney. Child endangerment, impersonating public officials, and issuing fraudulent notices under a fake HOA name. Her hands were trembling as she took it. You're really going this far? All this over one little girl? My little girl, I said coldly. And yes, I'll go as far as I have to. She stood frozen, lips parted, no words left. And for the first time she looked small. Not the loud, confident Karen who thought she ran the world, just a scared woman who picked the wrong person to push. She turned and walked out without another word. I thought that would be the end. But it wasn't. Because the next morning, I woke up to flashing lights outside my house and my truck being towed from my own driveway. A yellow sticker on the windshield said, "Violation of Community Regulations, HOA Code 1234. There was just one problem. There's no HOA where I live. I stood on my porch in disbelief, watching the tow truck drag my vehicle away like it was stolen. The driver avoided eye contact, clearly just following orders. But taped to the driver's side window was another printed notice, same fake header. Brookwood Neighborhood HOA, parking violation. This time there was no mistaking it. Karen was coming after me at home. I pulled out my phone, started recording, and walked down to the curb. "Hey," I called to the tow truck driver. "Where'd this order come from?" He hesitated. Lady in a white SUV gave it to dispatch, claimed it was official, looked legit to me. Did she show any ID? Any legal documents? Man, I don't get paid enough to ask questions. I turned off the recording and made another call. Within 15 minutes, my colleague from Precinct Operations, Detective Rivas, was at my place. She reviewed the footage, looked at the phony sticker, and sighed. She really thought this would work? She's doubling down, I said. She doesn't realize what she just did qualifies as felony impersonation and unlawful seizure of private property. Rivas nodded, then smirked. She's not even smart about it. You know she printed these off some template site, right? Same typos on everyone. We both laughed, but I wasn't smiling for long. My daughter walked out onto the porch, holding her arm carefully in her sling. "Daddy, is someone trying to take our house too?" My heart dropped. I knelt beside her. "No, baby. No one's taking anything from us, not ever." That night I stayed up late compiling everything. The school footage, witness statements, the zoning letters, the parking violation, all of it. Rivas helped package it into a formal case file. We weren't just filing complaints anymore. We were building a case for arrest. But then came the twist I didn't expect. At 6:42 the next morning, my wife woke me up, phone in hand, eyes wide. "You need to see this." Karen had gone live on Facebook. "I'm being targeted," she cried into the camera. "All because I spoke up for my community. Now this man, some political officer, is using government power to silence me. He's dragging my name through the mud. I fear for my safety." Thousands of views, hundreds of comments, most supportive, some confused. But the damage was starting. And now she was playing the victim. By noon, her video had over 50,000 views. Karen was sitting in her living room, all crocodile tears and dramatic sighs, framed by American flags and a coffee mug that said, "Faith, Family, Freedom." She even paused mid-sentence to hold up a Bible like she was being persecuted for her beliefs, not for nearly snapping a child's arm and staging fake authority stunts. "She's flipping the script," my wife said, watching the screen with clenched fists. "Trying to make it look like you're the villain." "She's good," I admitted, "but not good enough." I had just finished drafting a public statement when my office line rang. "Deputy," the voice on the other end said, "You're going to want to see this." A link was emailed to me seconds later, a new post, this time from an anonymous neighborhood blog titled, The truth about Brookwood. It had photos of me, my wife, even Lily. Zoomed-in shots taken from a distance, some at the grocery store, some outside our home. The caption read, "This is the man threatening local mothers, using county power to intimidate peaceful residents." They were twisting the story harder than I thought. This wasn't just about Karen anymore. Someone was helping her. I traced the blog's metadata using a forensic tool I had access to. It was clumsy, barely masked, hosted under a dummy LLC filed just 2 months ago. Guess who signed the paperwork? Frank Sturgis, Karen's boyfriend. And, more importantly, a suspended ex-cop with a history of misconduct. He'd been fired for falsifying reports and using excessive force. Now he was backing Karen's war on paper with his own little digital army. It all clicked. The fake notices, the phony violations, the staged drama. This wasn't just a personal grudge, it was a coordinated effort. They wanted control over the school, the neighborhood, even the narrative. And they thought I wouldn't fight back. They forgot what I do for a living. That night I filed for a protective order for my family. Then I pulled every legal string I had and fast-tracked an official investigation into Karen, Frank, and their entire fraudulent HOA setup. Because tomorrow morning, the real storm would hit, and this time they wouldn't see it coming. At exactly 9 a.m., 3 unmarked government vehicles rolled into Brookwood. Not sirens, no lights, just calm, focused movement. The kind that makes neighbors peek through blinds and whisper, "Something's going down." And it was. Karen was outside watering her front lawn in a spotless white tracksuit, sunglasses on like she hadn't smeared my name across the internet just hours ago. She didn't even flinch when the first agent approached. "Ma'am," he said calmly, "we have a warrant to search your home and confiscate any materials related to HOA operations and school zoning communications." "What? This is harassment. I have rights," she shouted, backing away. "You can't just show up here." But then she saw me standing across the street, arms folded. Watching, she pointed at me like she discovered the villain in a movie. "He sent you, didn't he? This is abuse of power. He's retaliating because I exposed him." One of the agents responded without even turning. "No, ma'am. This came from the state attorney's office. You're being investigated for impersonating a government official, mail fraud, and child endangerment." She laughed, but it cracked halfway through. They entered her house. And just minutes later, walked out with boxes of files, a laptop, and a printer with fake HOA templates still loaded in the tray. Frank wasn't far behind, dragged out of his garage in handcuffs, arguing and shouting about patriot rights and deep state conspiracies. None of it mattered. They were done. That night, the same social media crowd that once rallied behind Karen turned on her. Fast. Screenshots of the real charges flooded comment sections. Clips of her confrontation at the school resurfaced. Only now people noticed how my daughter cried when Karen grabbed her arm. A video someone had secretly recorded at the HOA meeting showed Karen bragging about making up rules to keep the wrong types of families out. That went viral. I didn't post anything. I didn't need to. The truth was already doing the work. But the moment that stuck with me most, Lily asleep in my lap, clutching her stuffed dinosaur with her good arm, unaware that the woman who hurt her was finally facing justice. And it wasn't over yet, because Karen's trial was coming. And I had one more card to play. The courtroom was quiet, too quiet when Karen took the stand. Gone were the sunglasses, the smug smirks, the oversized Starbucks cup she carried like a badge of honor. Now she looked hollow. No crowd of Facebook supporters. No HOA clipboard. Just a woman surrounded by lawyers trying to spin one last story before the walls closed in. But truth doesn't bend forever. The prosecutor didn't hold back. She laid it all out in brutal, simple terms. Falsified legal documents. Physical harm to a minor. Impersonation of authority. Deliberate harassment of a public official and his family. Karen kept shaking her head, whispering, "I didn't mean to hurt anyone." Then they played the school hallway footage, the moment she grabbed Lily's arm. My daughter's scream echoed through the courtroom. Karen looked away, but the jury didn't. And when it was my turn to speak, I didn't yell. I didn't brag. I just told the truth. "I didn't want this," I said. "I didn't want attention. I didn't want to fight. I just wanted to protect my daughter. I serve the law. I don't twist it. And I sure as hell don't let anyone, no matter how loud they are, hurt my family and walk away like it never happened." The judge didn't need long. Guilty. Sentencing was immediate. 18 months for fraud and impersonation. 6 months community service after release. Permanent restraining order from my family. And a public apology, court-mandated and recorded. But justice didn't end with the sentence. The Brookwood HOA was officially dissolved and blacklisted. Frank lost his appeal to ever wear a badge again, and the families who had been scared silent by Karen for years, they came forward, dozens of them. Stories that had been buried finally saw the light, and this time, they were believed. A month later, I stood in front of Lily's class for career day. She smiled up at me as I told the kids what it means to protect, not just with a badge, but with heart, with truth, and when necessary, with fire. Afterward, as we walked back to the car, Lily looked up at me. "Is the bad lady gone forever?" I smiled. "She's gone, baby, and she's not coming back." Because in the end, the law didn't just win. We did. For every family that was ever told to sit down, stay quiet, or follow the rules that never really existed, this was a message. We don't back down. We protect our own. And we never let a fake queen rule over real people. The end.